Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. So pack one, pick one. Sadly our rare is not very good. Drowned Secrets, it's not a rare we are hoping to open. The uncommons, Creeping Chill, not very good either. Guildmage is very good, so that's a potential first pick. We've got a Gargoyle, which is fine, but does require you to build around it a little bit and have enough gates. Then taking a look at the commons, Capture Sphere is very decent. Generous Ray is okay, but I'm not going to first pick it. There's Notion Rain, which is also okay, but also I don't think a first pick, since you usually can get one if you're Dimir. Hypothesis will fine as well, kind of in the same boat. And a Rosemane Centaur stands out as the best Selesnya card in the pack. So, an interesting pack for sure. I think the power level of the Guildmage is probably high enough that you can pick it as a first pick despite being a multicolor card. Because if you do end up in Izzet or maybe a blue deck splashing red or a red deck splashing blue, Guildmage is going to be worth it. Whereas you could also just make the argument that you should just be taking a single color card since you're more likely to end up playing it in the final build of the deck. But I think Guildmage is powerful enough that we're okay first picking it. And then what are we hoping to wheel? Probably not going to wheel Capture Sphere, but there's a chance. Maybe Sizzle wheels if there's no other Izzet drafters. Maybe the Gargoyle, doesn't seem very likely. And if we are still Izzet by the time the pack wheels, there's also Recruit in red potentially for the more aggressive Izzet deck. So it does leave us some outs as well on the wheel, which is nice. Let's take it. And alright, we get to follow that up with some pretty good cards. This pack is pretty stacked. For any blue deck there's a Mystic, which can be very strong if we have enough support for it, enough jumpstart cards. Indrik is also very good. We've got Fine Broker, which is very good in Golgari. Not the best follow-up to a League Guildmage is an issue. And there's a Direct Current as a great removal spell, but I think if I'm taking an Izzet card here, it's gotta be the Mystic over the Current. And then maybe hope to wheel, I don't know, a Dazzling Lights or a Dimir Informant. Take a Mystic here. And we get to follow that up with Capture Sphere would be my guess. There's also Hellkite Whelp, which is a reasonable red card here. And Necrotic Wound is good, District Guide's very good too. But I don't see a reason to take a black or a green card here over a good blue card when we've got this blue-red start. And Radical ID is also very good with the Mystic, but I don't think this is the kind of card you have to third pick. You should be able to get one later. Cyclops is okay too, but again, the removal spell is too important here. Alright. Alright, that's a very good jumpstart card, definitely an upgrade over Radical Idea. Plays very nicely with Guildmage and Mystic, even Capture Sphere, since Capture Sphere has Flash, so if we don't have to use a Capture Sphere, we could maybe use the Insight instead in the same turn. So it gives us a bit of flexibility. Other good cards still in the pack include Deadweight as a nice removal spell for 1 mana. Healer's Hawk can be okay in the aggressive Boros decks, and even the Selesnya decks as a cheap creature to help with Convoke. And has a good synergy with Mentor creatures, since putting a +1 counter on an evasive flyer with lifelink is usually a good idea. And yeah, we would also be happy with an Informant here, but definitely taking the Insight. So our Izzet deck is shaping up nicely, some good first picks. And we see yet another Deadweight, so it could be a sign that black is slightly open. Invert Invent is okay. It's a bit slow for a card draw spell at 6 mana. And the 1 mana effect is not going to come up a whole lot. Passable Adept is fine, as it's just an early blocker, and the ability in the late game can be useful to close out the game if there's a board stall. Silent Dart is kind of mediocre removal, but sometimes you'll play it. So yeah, the best card in the pack is Deadweight. Could still speculate on a Deadweight here, since we're definitely not committed to Izzet. The only Izzet card we have is a Guildmage. So we could still pivot into a good Dimir deck. If black seems to be open, we might get some very nice black cards late. And I don't think Invert Invent is good enough that we should take it over a good speculative pick like Deadweight. Adept is fine too, but you can usually get one later. So I think we just dip our toes into black here to see if maybe Dimir is open. If it's not, then sure, we missed out on an Invert Invent, who cares? But if Dimir is open, then Deadweight is an excellent addition to our deck. So let's take it. Alright, so we got a Hypothesis, which is a nice one here. Not much else. Like, we're shaping up to be the more controlling version of the Izzet deck instead of the more aggressive one. In the more aggressive version, Maximize Velocity could be okay, Bore and Recruit could be okay, but in a more controlling build, Hypothesis has to be the pick. And even if we're Dimir, a Bartizan Bats is nothing too exciting, so Sizzle it is. Alright, can Sizzle again. Anything else here? Not really. But after getting 2 Sizzles, it's definitely a sign that Izzet is wide open. So we're pretty happy with a second Sizzle. Alright, this pack is kind of a blank for us. Sure Strike and Altitude are fine cards in the more aggressive Izzet builds, which we could still end up being since it's pretty early in the draft, so we don't know for sure. I think I like the Altitude better since it's a jumpstart card that plays well with our Mystic. And even our Guild Mage, we could potentially make multiple creatures have flying in the same turn to get in a ton of damage out of nowhere. Sure Strike also fine combat trick. Probably prefer the Altitude. We're also more likely to end up blue than red. I think this just has a bit better synergy with our deck. Alright, so this is our first pack. We did not wheel any of the blue or red cards, sadly, not even the Boros Recruit. Could be a sign that maybe red is not as open as we think, but Izzet seems to be open as we got the Sizzle. Although I think the first pack was also the pack where we had a Sizzle, which didn't wheel. So who knows, maybe Izzet isn't as open as we thought anyway. I think the main consideration here is if we do somehow end up in black, then we probably want to take a Dimir card. I can't imagine switching into something Selesnya here. So taking the bats makes sense, just in case we do end up in Dimir. It's also possible we end up splashing red or black. If we end up with enough fixing here, Izzet Locket seems okay. If we're the more controlling deck, we can appreciate a bit more ramp, can draw some cards in the late game. So in the more controlling deck, the Locket might actually be decent. And alright, we wheeled the Radical Idea, that's nice. Definitely happy to have the first copy here. Nothing else to consider. And I guess we might as well take a Sergeant, in case we need a random win condition. Alright, and we even wheeled Invert Invent, that's a good sign. Alright, so the first pack went pretty well. Probably just gonna end up in an Izzet deck, but there's a chance if we open a great Dimir card that we still end up in black. So we'll keep the black cards in there for now. Alright then, well, it's probably one of the better cards we could have hoped for. That and Niv Mizzet, I guess. So let's take a look at what we can potentially wheel. There's a Capture Sphere, Hypothesis, but don't really want a third one. I might even play a Wishcoin Crab in this deck. If we wheel the Crab, I'll be pretty happy with it. But Ral it is. That's lucky.
What would you risk to beat me?
And get to follow that up with another pretty stacked pack for us. So many good options. There's Field, there's Sphere, there's Wee Dragonauts, Cyclops. So we mentioned earlier that we're looking for good defensive cards, and especially after picking up a Ral, I feel like Electrostatic Field goes up in value quite a bit, even though Wee Dragonauts is the more dangerous card. So let's take a look at our curve real quick. So don't have many 3s, don't have many 2s, so both Dragonauts and Field would be fine additions to our deck. So yeah, I think it's between the Field and the Dragonauts over the Sphere, since we're pretty set on late game 4 and 5 drops. So between the Field and the Dragonauts, Dragonauts has flying, so it can block potential flyers, which is useful. Plays very well with all the jumpstart cards, can get in a ton of damage. Field is the better early blocker, has a bit more toughness. Yeah, there's definitely a good chance that one of the cards we're interested in wheels, whether that's the Field, the Sphere, the Cyclops. And this pack is quite good as well, so we're definitely getting some nice packs here. There's another Insight, but I think that's a bit overkill at this point. Probably just have to take the removal spell here. Direct Currents fits our curve nicely. Another Jumpstart card gives us a bit of removal. It's just the card we need the most. Would also be very happy with the Cyclops. Just a good blocker. Same with the Informant. But yeah, I think I'll go with the Current over another Insight. And alright, this is a very interesting pack. A lot of options. At 5 mana we've got a Whelp, which can be a win condition. 1 damage can add up together with maybe a Current or a Sizzle to take out something bigger. We also have a Wall of Mist as a nice early blocker, which our deck could definitely use. Disdainful Stroke is fine, not as good as it is in Sealed, since you tend to see more aggressive decks in Draft than in Sealed. So the value goes down a little bit, but it's still a fine addition to any controlling Izzet deck. I don't think we need to prioritize a second Radical Idea, even though it's a fine card. And I don't think we're too interested in one of the maximized cards here, since we're looking to be a slightly more controlling variant of the Izzet deck. So where does that leave us? I think it's between Wall of Mist, Whelp, and Stroke. Wall of Mist is a type of card that you can easily wheel or get late, since it's not a card that most people want, even though it's maybe the card that our deck needs the most. So that leaves us between Stroke and Whelp. Don't have many ways to close out the game yet, so Whelp would be an okay addition, but it is another 5-drop where we already have 2 Sizzles, a Ral, and a bunch of card draw spells. So I'm mostly worried about the curve here if we take the Whelp. So my guess is we might actually want the Disdainful Stroke here, just as a cheap interactive spell that we can keep up around turn 4 or 5, and if we don't have to use it, we can still cast our card draw spells like Insight and Sizzle, so our deck does play pretty nicely with counterspells since we have so many instants and we get to keep up our mana. So Stroke has some added value there as well. So I think we'll take the Stroke and then hope to wield a Wall or get a Wall later. Bodyguard, a great red common, but not in this deck since we're not looking to curve out and beat down. So I don't think we can take the Bodyguard here. Goblin is still a fine 2-drop. It can trade with 3 toughness creatures by dealing 1 damage and then 2 more damage in combat. There's a Dazzling Lights as an okay trick to shrink down opposing creatures. Gets even better if we have more high-powered creatures that could potentially kill the opponent's creatures after blocking, which currently we don't have a ton of those. Could also consider Whisper Agent just as a 3-2 flash for double blue essentially. And I don't hate it since it plays well with our counterspells. It's a creature which we don't have a lot of currently. And yeah, it's a threat we can play end of turn. Yeah, I think Whisper Agent seems fine here. Either a Devious Cover-Up as a 4-mana counterspell, a bit expensive. Would much prefer cheaper counterspells, but it might still be okay. Over a Dazzling Lights, there's also a Dimir Guildgate, which we can consider. We do have a Deadweight. If we pick up more mana fixing, we could potentially splash a few black removal spells. But I have to imagine that Devious Cover-Up makes the deck, so probably worth a pick here. Alright, let's take it. We have Izzet Guildgate versus Wishcoin Crab, I think. I mentioned earlier that I wouldn't mind a Wishcoin Crab in this deck, a nice defensive body. We might get one a 9th pick since we had one in our opening pack. So maybe taking the Guildgate and hoping to get the Wishcoin Crab in the 9th pick is going to pay off here, since we could definitely use some mana fixing. We've got double red for Currents, need double blue for Whisper Agent. So having a bit of mana fixing would definitely help out. So let's take the Guildgate and hope to get a Crab in 2 packs. Alright, no Crab here, but there is a Fresh Face Recruit as a 2-1. A little bit underwhelming since we won't be attacking a whole lot with it. So the first strike's not going to come up very often. There's a Dazzling Lights as well, which, as I've mentioned, does have its moments as well. A lot better, of course, if you have some Surveil synergies, which we don't, but it's still a cheap instant that can potentially enable some stuff like Murmuring Mystic or We Dragonauts. Alright, let's take it. And alright, we wield the Wishcoin Crabs. I think we take it here. Halberdier, not too exciting. 3 mana, 3-2, no abilities. Mesmerist is okay, but we can probably pick up some random 2-drops if we really need them. Same with the Recruit. So let's take a Crab. And wow, we wield a Field. Great. Almost considered picking it the first time around. Definitely an upgrade over Wall of Mist. So very happy to see it here. And I don't think we need anything else here, so that's lucky. And we even wield a Cyclops, perfect, so our deck's coming along nicely. And we even wield a Wall, so we got everything we could have hoped for. Alright, I guess we'll take the uncommon for the vault. Can't imagine playing 2 maximize velocity in this deck. Alright, so moving into pack 3 here. Our deck is quite nice here. Let's cut some cards to have a better idea what we're working with. So we almost have a deck here and it's only the second pack. So we would love a little bit more removal. Could use a few more extra cheap blockers potentially, but after taking Wall of Mist and Field, we're looking okay there as well. Our curve looks decent. Could use a few more finishers, I guess, maybe some big flyers. But yeah, this is shaping up nicely. So I'm excited to play some games with the deck. And what did we open? There's another Direct Current, which would be nice. Could play Discovery Dispersal, mainly for the Discovery side, which would be a fine card in our deck, even though it's a little bit underwhelming without any black mana and no Surveil synergies. There's also Muse Drake, which would fit perfectly in this more controlling Izzet deck, but it's probably just a Direct Current here. And then hope to wheel either the Muse Drake or the Izzet Guildgate. Yeah, if we can pick up a second Devious Cover-Up, that could also function as a win condition, since if you have 2 Devious Cover-Ups, then you can shuffle one of them back into your deck with the second one, so you will never end up decking yourself and eventually the opponent's gonna draw from an empty library and lose a game. But that's hopefully not the way we have to win the game, since that leads to some pretty grindy, long games. We did open a second Devious Cover-Up. There's Integrity Intervention, which we would have to splash for if we end up picking up some white fixing, which at this point is maybe a bit too late. But it would be a very nice card in our deck. Don't think we need a second crab. So yeah, pretty much is the Devious Cover-Up here. If we had a few Boros Guildgates, then we could consider Intervention. But I think it's too late for that now. Let's just stick to blue-red. Let's take a Cover-Up. So we kind of have a win condition now with double Cover-Up, and Electromancer is a perfect card here. Makes a ton of our cards cheaper. A lot better in the controlling build of the deck as well, since you have more expensive instants and sorceries. Makes our sizzles cheaper, our Cover-Ups. Our Direct Current even. Radical Idea only costs a single blue. So easy pick here. And do we want a third sizzle? I mean, 3 sizzles is a bit much, but maybe with a discount from Electromancer we can get away with it. Don't think we can splash an Indrik here or anything else. Don't have any fixing. So sure, let's take the sizzle. There's a chance it doesn't make the deck, but we'll see. Well, if we do somehow want to have a bit of fixing, we could take a Plaza on the off chance that we get a good card in a different guild that we want to splash. But 1 Plaza might not be enough fixing. Unless we wheel another Guildgate, maybe. Is there anything else worth considering? We already have a Dazzling Lights, can't imagine playing 2 of them. So Plaza it is. I mean, Swathcutter Giant could potentially be an okay splash card in the late game. Definitely better in a more controlling deck like this one than it is in a more aggressive deck, like Boros. Boros Locket could potentially give us some white fixing, but I don't love Boros Locket in an Izzet deck, since then it's going to be difficult to sacrifice to draw. Probably just taking the Giant on the off chance that we pick up some more fixing and want to splash it as an extra win condition, but I doubt it. Alright, I mean, we did get a Boros Guildgate, so there's a chance. There's also a Goblin Banneret, which can be an okay mana sink, just to trade up for bigger creatures from the opponent. Probably not going to trigger Mentor a whole lot in this deck. So my guess is the Giant's probably not going to make the deck, but neither is the Banneret. I don't know, we might wheel a sweet Boros card like the Integrity Intervention. Not very likely, but you never know. Alright, this pick doesn't matter, so I'm just going to take the uncommon for the vault. And, I mean, we could technically splash a Color the Culprit. We are playing sideboarded games. So there's a chance we want access to a nice removal spell like this one under certain circumstances if our opponent's playing Selesnya or Golgari and they have some very large creatures. It's probably the pick here. And we can have another crab, we can have a random mesmerist as a 2-drop. Taking a look at our curve. So my guess is altitude doesn't make it, and dazzling lights probably doesn't make it. Locket might not make it. Crab might not make it. Scholar's more sideboard card. My guess is we won't need a crab. So this is kind of how our deck looks like currently, which is not bad. I guess we have room for a few extra cards still. There's a chance we want a mesmerist. Don't think we're gonna need 2 crabs. Alright, this pick probably doesn't matter either. Another mesmerist, just in case. Alright. Don't think we're getting anything useful. Alright, so time to build our deck here. And we even opened the vault. Got 37 cards in front of us. I think this is an 18 land deck. I guess Hypothesis doesn't discard lands, but we have some jumpstart cards like the Insight and the Radical Idea that can discard lands in the late game. And we do want to make sure to hit our land drops here. So I think this is an 18 land deck. So that means we still need to add 2 more cards. So out of the remaining cards in our sideboard, we have to add 2 of them. So let's make a pile here of potential adds. So Dazzling Lights could make the deck. Altitude could make the deck. Mesmerist is another 2-drop. Crab is another blocker. Don't think we're playing a Sergeant here. Invert Invent could make the deck. Locket could make the deck. And I don't think we're gonna splash white here, doesn't seem necessary. Yeah, if we had one more Boros Guildgate I would consider it, but just with the 2 mana fixing cards here, just doesn't seem necessary to dip into white. So if we look at instants and sorceries for Invert Invent, we do have a few. We've got Sizzle and Counterspells as instants, got card draw in the form of Chemist's Insight, and then 2 Direct Current as sorceries to get. So Invert Invent looks okay, but it is yet another expensive card draw spell, which we may not need. Alright, looks like we're going with Crab and Invert Invent. Fair enough. So these 2 will make the deck. Alright, so I've got a pretty sweet Izzet control deck. Let's give this a try. Let's take a look at our mana base real quick. We do have more blue than red. So do we go 9-8 or 10-7? Do still have double red for direct current, so I don't think we can go 10-7. So 9-8 it is. Seems okay to me. Alright, so gotta use Raw as a picture here. Izzet control. Let's go. Alright, well, nice opening hand there. Triple Sizzle and a Raw. Alright, well, good thing we're playing 18 lands, right? Think we actually keep this and just hope to scry a land on top and then Radical ID into more lands. Don't really want to go to 5. Alright, and we're up against Boros aggro, presumably. So this one might be over quickly. I think those Mesmerists are going to be added back into the deck. Alright, at least we hit our land drop so far, which is nice. So if we block, they could finish off the Dragonauts by sacking the Crater Maker, or they could have a trick. Usually I would just snap block since we're the control deck, but we do have this Radical Idea in hand, which maybe we want to save, but I guess we want to play the Radical Idea ideally after we play the Murmuring Mystic to get some tokens going. I think I'm actually fine blocking here. If they want to kill the Crater Maker or the Dragonauts by sacking Crater Maker, that's fine. If they have a trick, that's fine. Means that the Murmuring Mystic is more likely to survive. And the Murmuring Mystic is a real win condition here. I mean, I guess we're just casting a Radical Idea here. Hope to draw land. That's good. Now we get to keep up Disdainful Stroke, and we might discard the Invert Invent here to jumpstart, we'll see. Oh boy. Not on my watch. But this also means that we're going to be facing Aurelia in game 2 and 3 potentially, which I'm not too happy about. Alright, so if we play a crab, we're not too sad if it dies. Ideally, we would have land 6, so we can go Mystic into Radical ID, jumpstart, make a token right away. So I think I prefer playing the crab here. Alright, opponent says go, land, perfect. Don't really want to discard the Invert Invent now that we have 6 mana though, but at least we have the option to. So we could even get aggressive with the crab now, which I don't hate. Could get punished by a haste creature. I guess we wait. Getting into damage seems not worth it here. Alright, so we can make a bird at instant speed here with the Radical Idea. And if not, we're just gonna invent for a Sizzle probably and a Direct Current, which seems pretty nice. Guildmage is gonna die to Direct Currents, so that's okay. So far so good. And a land, so no real reason to invent main phase since it's an instant. We could play the land. So if we play the land, then we might not have anything sweet to discard to jumpstart is the main issue. But if we play the land, and let's say we get a Sizzle and a Direct Current, and we draw another land, then we could cast both next turn, which would be a pretty big game, since we would have 8 mana if we draw land. Sizzle is 5, Current is 3. It's close. Keeping the land for jumpstart could also be worth it here. I mean, technically we could also invert and hit them for 10, but I don't think that's our game plan here. We're just looking to win a long grindy game with Mystic, making a bunch of tokens. So I'm gonna keep the land in hand here, not sure about that one. Yeah, we do have 2 Direct Currents. We're gonna get one of them with Invent. So having the land for jumpstart seems useful. Yeah, if we didn't counter that Aurelia, we would have been dead already. Sergeant, they do have quite a few guild gates, so that's gonna need to get killed by the Sizzle. That's okay. Well, so far so good. We're getting time to play our expensive card draw spells. Alright, make sure to cast the right half. Alright, so let's do a quick scan here. So it has to be Sizzle plus Current here. Any other options? I mean, Current is our only sorcery, so that's a lock. So yeah, let's get a Sizzle. And we draw another Sizzle. So what are we sizzling first? Probably just a Sergeant right now. And we can always discard the Current to the Sizzle if we want to. Do we do it now? Play around a pump spell, probably worth it here. Don't have any counter spells in hand anyway. Don't think our opponent's playing around counter spells at this point. So let's Sizzle the Sergeant. Alright, we do have to discard the Current here. And we don't get to cast it since we didn't play a land last turn. But I think that's okay. And then we can start attacking with our bird token. Alright, I will play one more land here, and we can still Radical Idea discarding land, which is nice. Alright, get in for one. Alright, so we're in pretty good shape here. We've got our Mystic going, making tokens every turn. Opponent's not really doing much. Still at 18, so have a hard time imagining losing this game. Could easily lose the match to Aurelia in game 2 and 3. We'll see. Opponent can burn us for 3 with the Guild Mage, which is fine. Alright. Electromancer's not bad. So let's start by attacking with the bird, see what happens. And then we can Electromancer into Currents. Seems okay. Discarding probably just a land for now. So we don't have Sizzle up since we don't have enough red mana here, but that's okay. Alright, opponent's gonna burn us. Alright, Crater Maker kills Electromancer, that's acceptable. So our opponent has a 1-turn window to resolve something scary potentially. Gonna hold on to the Wall of Mist in case we need to discard it to jumpstart. Still have another Current and a Chemister's Insight in our deck. Alright, let's just sizzle main phase here so we can attack with everyone. Also reason to hold on to the Wall of Mist so we can discard it to the sizzle. And our opponent has seen enough. Alright, that game definitely went according to plan. After mulliganing and keeping a one-lander, things went pretty well for us. So against a pretty mid-rangey Boros deck with double Sergeant, how do we sideboard? So before seeing all those Sergeants, I would have considered Mesmerists just to have more early blockers. But after seeing double Sergeants, maybe Mesmerist is not the way to go. So is our deck just perfect the way it is? Could be. Could be that we want Color the Culprit to answer Aurelia, but then we have to mess up our entire mana base. We still have a few answers to Aurelia, but they're all pretty ugly since Sizzle by itself doesn't do it. Ral could kill Aurelia. Capture Sphere is not the ideal answer. We've got double Devious Cover-Up essentially, and Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, don't have many great answers to Aurelia, sadly. I think we're good to go the way we are. Didn't see too many aggressive 2-drops where I would want more 2-drops myself to be able to block and trade. Just have to hope Aurelia doesn't resolve, basically. So yeah, we'll definitely try and play around Aurelia as much as possible. So if we were holding a counterspell and our opponent has a mana for Aurelia, then we'll be extra careful. Gotta keep this hand. If Electromancer dies, then might take us a while before we get to Sizzle, but yeah, we didn't end up with any Commander Storms, which would have been decent additions as well. Although with triple Sizzle, maybe not as needed. It's just that Aurelia has 5 toughness, which is pretty annoying. Alright, there's Ral. So I'm not gonna block the Witness this time around if they do attack, since Electromancer is pretty important. Alright, opponent's going all in. Well, in 2 turns we can Sizzle it. Until then we'll take some damage. Field's not bad. I mean, we still represent Disdainful Stroke here, so our opponent got their Aurelia countered last time. Could have attacked with Electromancer, probably should have, but I don't think it's gonna matter. And if they want a Sure Strike here, that's fine by me, because then they're not casting an Aurelia. Alright. And now we get to untap with cover-up, so now we might be in the spot where we have to take damage from Witness to keep up cover-up for a potential Aurelia, and then end of turn Sizzle the Witness. So yeah, we're gonna take 3 from the Witness here, just to have the luxury of keeping up cover-up for Aurelia. Since we're at 17, we can afford to take 3 here. Alright. And this is why instants are so useful, since you get this flexibility that you otherwise don't get. Alright, I mean, With double Devious Cover-Up, we might not need a crab, but the crab is good insurance in case a creature does slip through the cracks. But I think I still discard the crab here. Got counter spells for days. And now we can start attacking with the Electromancer. Although I guess the 1/1 lifelink tokens makes racing a little awkward. I think we're still fine. Playing Ral still works, since if they play Aurelia, then Ral minus plus Sizzle still kills Aurelia. So Ral plus here seems good.
Ooh, a battle. I'm all tingly. Or hope we get something good.
Alright, those are both good. Sadly, we don't get to keep up Stroke this turn. So Capture Sphere is better insurance in case something does slip through the cracks. Disdainful Stroke is more useful starting from next turn, since it can answer those Sergeants and it can answer Aurelia. But if they play Aurelia now, then we're probably gonna want the Sphere more. This is close. I think I'll go with the Sphere. And we'll keep the Electromancer back to protect our Ral. Alright, so if we get to untap here and our opponent doesn't do anything too scary, then I don't think we're losing this game. We're just gonna get to ultimate Ral before our opponent does anything irrelevant again. We don't even have quadruple blue, so we don't even have the luxury of double cover-up. By keeping Electromancer, we also can't go Sizzle plus cover-up next turn, so I think I'm fine blocking. I'm fine if they use a trick here, not gonna be too sad. Alright, another Righteous Blow. Surprised they kept all those in, since they're not very good against us. Alright, Whisper Agent's perfect. So let's plus first. And yeah, our opponent has seen enough. Hopefully all games can go like that. Alright, this hand seems quite good. No turn 2 play, but got some nice turn 3 plays. Well, never mind. This hand looks spicy. And it's gonna be the Izzet Mirror, opponent main phasing Radical Idea. That's generous. So now what? Could just kill it with Direct Current, which is reasonable. Could try and get more value from it by waiting, getting the Cyclops and the Mystic down first, or the Dragonauts. I think we're fine playing a wee Dragonauts first here. Don't really want to trade Guildmage for Halberdier. Don't have a ton of card draw in hand, so if we lose the Guildmage, we kind of lose our late game. I'm fine taking 3 for now. Opponent on Grixis and a Wishcoin Crab, that's fine. Our late game should be decent, so not too worried about playing a long game. Yeah, let's attack with the Dragonauts. Play Mystic, and then next turn we can maybe Current or keep up Devious Cover-Up or activate the Guildmage, we'll see. It's also possible that we should have just played Cyclops and traded for the Halberdier in case they are on the more aggressive Izzet deck with a bunch of maximized altitudes and velocities. Alright. Another main phase Radical Idea. Works for me. So are there many 2 damage spells? There's Direct Current, which could punish us for blocking Halberdier over Crab. Sure Strike, we would rather block the Halberdier to prevent more damage. I'm definitely blocking with the Mystic. The question is which creature. I think this is fine. They could also have a dead weight afterwards for the Mystic, but that would kill Guildmage as well. Alright. So we prevented the most damage, which is nice. Alright, so now we could just sit back on Guildmage plus Devious Cover-Up. We could Direct Current to Halberdier. I think I like saying go here. Getting a 1 damage is probably not worth taking 2 damage potentially. If they have a trick or removal, we've got our counterspell. If they don't, then we just draw cards and get ahead. So it's kind of on the opponent to make a move. Another Halberdier, sure. They could have an instant here to deal damage, but doesn't look like it. Alright. So now what? Could run back the same thing. This time we will be taking a little bit of damage. Or we could just go Cyclops plus Direct Current. Make sure we don't take any damage and then go from there. Don't hate that. Also get to attack with our Guildmage here. So let's current the Halberdier. Trigger some stuff. And we get to attack for 5. Or we could keep Guildmage back, but eh. I'm not gonna trade it for Halberdier anyway. This seems fine. And we'll play a Cyclops. Alright. So our opponent gets to do what they want here. Hopefully it's not too bad. And then we still have 2 removal spells and a counterspell in hand, so we're looking good. Sure. That is acceptable. Alright, that's somewhat scary. But now we can just double block Sergeant with our token and the Mystic, I think. We'll take 6. And now the Halberdier's out of range from the current, but we still have the Sizzle that can deal with it, so... Alright, so 7 mana means we can Cyclops, keep up, cover up. Or we could Sizzle, but then we don't get to do anything else. I kinda like Cyclops, keep up, cover up, and then use Guildmage if it doesn't work out. Or if we don't need to use a cover up. And I don't feel inclined to attack here. Although we could sneak in 1 point with the Dragonauts, I guess. Sure. Alright. So if they don't make us use a counterspell, we draw a card. And we still have 2 removal spells at the ready. Mostly to deal with flying creatures, which are more threatening at this point. Command a Storm. Yeah, that's worth countering. We don't have to, but could also just Capture Sphere the Halberdier here. I guess maybe that's better. So we'll tap down a 4/3 here. Crab can't attack into the Mystic anyway. And I don't really care about losing the Cyclops. Alright. Invert Invent is pretty good too. A lot of options. Just gonna say go with all our instants at the ready, I think. This time we could have attacked for 1 with the Dragonauts potentially. But they have shown the willingness to play a bunch of haste creatures, so you never know. Alright, so now we can invent for Current and Sizzle. Could just activate the Guildmage by itself. I think inventing here makes sense. Could also set up a crazy wing with invert flipping power and toughness. Doesn't seem necessary. Alright, let's just do this. So let's get our only sorcery. Could get a Sizzle, could get another counterspell. I guess getting another counterspell is pretty safe here. Alright, Electromancer's a good one. Muse Drake's kind of annoying, so I'm okay countering it. And don't want to shuffle that one back in, but I'm okay shuffling those two back into the deck. Make another bird token, which is the main reason why I countered the Drake there, since otherwise our bird tokens would be unable to attack. And it doesn't die to current. Alright, so now we can probably win. Just current the opponent a bunch in the face. Burn them out here. And we still have cover up as backup. So we did end up showing quite a few cards to the opponent here, but I'm okay with it. Alright, that should just about do it. Alright, so against Grixis, not sure exactly. Somewhat aggressive deck. Mesmerist can block the Halberdier. What else did we see? We saw Sergeant from the opponent, so having a 2-1 to block could be useful. So maybe we want to consider Mesmerist. I think we're fine. Alright, this hand's a little awkward. No red mana for field or current. Stroke is only relevant late. If we do draw a red source, then this hand's okay to begin with. Field can block. We are on the draw, so we're somewhat likely to find a mountain here. I don't think we have to risk it. I think our average 6 is probably going to be better. Alright, this is better. And I'll keep land on top. So turn 2 Electromancer, turn 3 Cyclops. Good early defense. Alright, no turn 2 play, which is good. And then next turn we get to play Cyclops into maybe a Crab. Halberdier, sure. So I would rather trade Cyclops for Halberdier, I think, than the Electromancer, since Electromancer gets us closer to Invent, which finds us a ton of cards. Or we could just take it and then try and block with a Crab. My point being that I don't think we're attacking with the Electromancer here, since I don't want to trade. Should they block? So I think we're fine blocking with the Cyclops here. Like, presumably they have a trick to get past the Crab, so might as well get it out of their hand now. And if they trade, I'm very much happy with it. We're not going to be attacking with the Cyclops anytime soon. So it's meant to trade for opposing 3 and 4 drops. Alright, opponent with the field. Might as well attack here. They did see double direct current, which could take out the field. And our opponent takes it. Alright, crab it up. And next turn we get to invent and find some nice inventions. Probably direct current, and it's too bad. Now we'll have to wait another turn. Alright, well, we drew the current anyway, so now if they block, I'm probably just killing it. Sure. That's fine. So we could kill this, but the crab can just block it. Sure, we don't kill the Mesmerist, but that's not necessary here. Keep up, cover up. Don't feel the need to kill the Mesmerist here with the current. And if we draw our 6th land, we can keep up our counterspell and invent, and once we get to invent, we should be in a good spot. Yeah, we could invert the field here to kill it, but I think it's too important to invent, so we can get ahead on cards. The wall's not too threatening at the moment. Alright, perfect. Could have considered main phasing invent in case of a counterspell that they may have brought in from the sideboard, but on the off chance that we need to cover up something important, it's probably worth it to keep up our mana. Sure. Alright, so we're getting current, and my guess is a sizzle. Could also go for insight. But sizzle kills something and draws 2 cards. I think we go with the sizzle. Alright, more sizzles. So we could get aggressive here, sizzle the field, attack with the crab. I think we can wait, keep up our counterspell, do it end of turn, and then start attacking, potentially. So they know about sizzle and current. They don't know about second sizzle. So this is what they know about. Guess we'll put these here. Muse Rake. Muse Rake is okay, a little bit annoying. It will block all future 1-power token or 1/1 tokens we make with a Mystic. It attacks for 1 until we find a better answer to it. And if we have to end up sizzling it, I guess that's still acceptable. But we haven't seen much more scary things out of the opponent, so yeah, it's probably worth a counterspell actually. And yeah, we'll shuffle these back. Alright, so a bit short on blue mana here, but I don't think it matters too much. So now that we don't have our counterspell up anymore, we can probably get more aggressive. Although I guess if they have a Sergeant, we could get punished pretty badly. So we're probably better off still waiting here. Just sizzle end of turn, go from there. No, just a Halberdier. Dies to direct current, so no need to sizzle that one. And a Beam Splitter Mage explains kind of their build, I guess. Alright, so we're gonna have to kill some stuff here. So next turn we can current twice, killing Halberdier and Mage. So do we sizzle the field? Do we sizzle one of these two anyway? Sizzling the field is probably okay. Alright, Electromancer was a nice pickup. So now we can go Mancer into double currents. And I think we keep the Guildgate in hand to discard to jumpstart. And if they kill Electromancer with their current, that's fine. Then they're not casting a Sergeant and hitting us in the face for a bunch. So your opponent had 4 creatures at their end of turn, and by the time they untapped, there was only 1 left. Current kills Electromancer, discarding Sonic Assault, alright. So we can't rely on our crab too much here, so we might as well attack with it. And we could direct current to Mesmerist, might be okay, and then we can still Whisper Agent end of turn. If we want to attack with Agent, Mesmerist is going to have to go anyway. And by discarding Sonic Assault, they're saying that they're going to try and kill us by just burning us out, essentially. So getting rid of a 2-1 could actually be somewhat relevant. Can't imagine Current's killing much better stuff, except for maybe another Halberdier type stuff. So yeah, let's get rid of it. We can ditch the Guild Gate here. And then still Whisper Agents, end of turn, to set up our next draw. Just want to prevent as much damage as possible. Crab is fine. And a Devious Cover-Up has to be good enough here. Also don't want to mill it, otherwise our win condition of looping cover-ups goes away. So here we could Capture Sphere the Crab, get in for 5. I think that's worth it, but then we're shields down on cover-up. So we could also wait a turn cycle to set that up. Might be worth it. So I'm just gonna say go. Keep up cover-up and Capture Sphere. If they don't do anything scary, we'll Capture Sphere the Crab end of turn. Alright, they have their own Sizzle. Probably worth countering here. And we'll shuffle some of these goodies back. Yeah, double cover-up is definitely nice in this type of deck, since otherwise decking is a real concern. Dragonauts is pretty good too. Alright, now I don't mind being a bit more aggressive. We get to Capture Sphere and Dragonauts, and then next turn Sizzle to trigger the Dragonauts. So we're in a very good spot. So if we Sizzle here, they're dead, and we don't have to discard anything if we don't want to. So let's attack, see what happens. They might tap something down. Ooh, they're blazing the Crab. That blaze could have been quite scary, but that's fine. Hey, thanks for the 500 bits there, Matimus, appreciate it. So we could keep the Sizzle. Right now we're attacking them for 4, putting them to 3. So if we Sizzle into something cheap, but we don't have that many cheap cards left in our deck to trigger the Dragonauts once again. Otherwise we should have Sizzled main phase in case we found something. I think we're okay just getting in for 4 here. Keep the Sizzle just in case. Keep land in hand for Jumpstart. And if they use the Sonic Assault to tap down the Agent, then the Dragonauts is lethal anyway. Hellkite Whelp, that's a perfect target for the Sizzle. So if we can draw into a non-land card, then they should be dead. Alright, well, so far only lands. Tapping our mana like this is okay, I guess. Could have moved to combat first, I guess. But I'm assuming they were gonna Sonic Assault one of our creatures. And if we find a sorcery speed, instant or sorcery, then who knows what could happen. Right, opponent had a Cosmotronic Wave, so they were quite aggressive. And yeah, Sizzle discarding Sizzle. Kill that thing, and that's game. Sweet. Alright, that was a pretty fun game. Got to draw a lot of cards, got to do a lot of sweet Izzet things. So we're 2-0. Deck definitely seems pretty good, so hopefully we can get pretty far. And this hand seems a little slow, but on the play, probably acceptable. Turn 2 Guildmage, turn 4 we can either draw cards or counter something. Yeah, I think we keep. Gotta keep lands and spells. Crab should replace Ral. Don't know about that one. You mean as a picture or as adding the second crab to the deck and cutting raw? I can get behind changing the picture to the crab. Don't think I agree with cutting raw from the deck. Alright, another Boros deck. Direct current's not bad. Oh no, they have the deal 2 damage to attacking creature. We should not have attacked. Punished. Oh well. A Legionnaire. A Rock Charger. It's a little more annoying than Legionnaire since it doesn't die. 2 direct current. So here we could Electrostatic Field. My guess is we're better off keeping up cover up. Although we are kind of short on red mana, so we won't be able to go field into current next turn. So what scary 4-drops could they have? They could have a few of them that don't die to direct current next turn. So is it worth it to tap out for, well, basically tap out for the field here? I don't think it is. Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright, we're not drawing too hot here. But at least they're only getting in for 1 for now. Yeah, if we still had our Guild Mage, this game would look a lot different, since now we could just start drawing cards with our Guild Mage. So it's definitely possible that it was a mistake to try and attack for 2 here, even though it sounds a little silly. Alright, sadly this is not an instant. So we're gonna take 6 to the face. Not happy about it. Think I'll play 1 more land here, but then I'll probably keep the rest in hand for jumpstart. So now we're taking 2 a turn from the Charger. Still dies to a Sizzle at least. Alright, that's a lot of land. So we've got 3 Sizzles, a Ral, Invert Invent, Chemister's Insights, Radical Idea, and Island, I guess, as well. Alright, well. Opponent playing blue as well, maybe for Sonic Assault. Murmuring Mystic, a bit late to the party, but we'll still play it. Alright, so I think we hang on to the land still. Could get punished if we play card draw spell and need more mana. But we have this current in the graveyard. So I think we'll say go. Mystic, not really an answer to the Rock Charger. So we still need to find a Sizzle or a Capture Sphere here. Opponent splashing blue for Radical Idea. That's interesting. That's a pretty radical idea indeed. Alright, flashback. Alright, there's a Sizzle. Probably want to main phase it in case of a pump spell, and then we can still potentially current it to make sure it stays dead. And hope to draw into a non-land card here. Pretty likely to draw a non-land card here. Seen quite a few lands already. Alright, Stroke, you're gone. Please die. Think we're okay playing 1 more land here. Why discard Stroke over land? Because if you read Hypothesis, it only deals 4 damage if you discard a non-land card. So not really a choice. Alright, let's get in for 2, play a Mancer, go from there. Still gonna keep lands in hand, still have a few jumpstart cards left. Justice Strike on Electromancer, that's funny. Opponent unable to kill our Murmuring Mystic and Electrostatic Field with it. That's okay. Well, if we can draw some more sizzles here, then we might be okay, but we are at 5, so we could die pretty easily. More currents. Don't think we're at the point where we're just burning out our opponent yet to make a bunch of birds. So let's just get in for 2 for now. Hope they present some creatures we can kill. Opponent's got 5 cards in hand. What are they possibly holding on to? Maybe some counterspells, but it feels kind of weird that they would be splashing it in a Boros deck. But maybe they're more controlling than we thought. Alright, let's pass a turn. I imagine Guildmage is gonna die here, but we'll see. If we get to untap with a Guildmage, we can do some dirty things. Copying direct currents and all. Alright, Sizzle's gonna kill Guildmage. That's okay still. They've got their own Mystic. Oh boy. And a Minotaur. And what else? A land. And a Sizzle. Oof, this turn could get spicy. So what's our plan? How much mana do we have? 9, 10. So we're short on being able to cast Current twice and a Sizzle. And yeah, they discarded the Clarion, so they are a lot more controlling than we imagined. We can Sizzle and Current the Mystic. It's probably not a bad place to start, since I imagine Mystic is a more threatening card here. So we'll start there. See if they counter this. They don't. And those are some good cards. So what to discard? My guess is we get rid of the Whisper Agent. And try to kill the Mystic anyway here. And then we'll jumpstart the Current, discarding Island. Yeah, the field is kind of doing a lot of damage here. And we should have plenty of blockers for the Minotaur now, so I'm not too concerned. So we can put him to 8. And then next turn Current plus Jumpstart Current is 6 damage with the field. Plus the birds should be able to get there, so we'll see. So yeah, looking at our opponent's deck, a lot more controlling than we thought. They're just pure Jeskai. Ouch, Cosmotronic Wave. Are we about to die? I hope not. So they have 2 sweepers in their deck between Clarion and Wave, essentially. And yeah, Sure Strike for lethal. Feels bad, man. Exactly enough damage. Alright, well. So their deck is a bit all over the place. They're aggressive and controlling at the same time. So maybe if we had a better draw to start with and then flood out in the early game, we would have been able to take over a lot sooner. This might be a matchup for the Giant, honestly. It survives the Sizzle from the opponents. Survives Clarion, gets in there for quite a bit. Kills the tokens from opposing Mystics. So I kind of like it. Bring in Guildgate and Plaza. Cut a mountain and probably an island. What don't we like? Not sure what we want to cut. Maybe the Wall of Mist is not necessary. But they did have some aggressive creatures as well. I think we still cut it. Yeah, I think our deck is pretty well set up for the matchup. Crab might not be necessary, but it blocks Sergeant so well. Yeah, I think I like this. Alright, this hand seems totally fine. Don't want to play this turn 1. So... probably gonna play Electromancer turn 2. Those are a lot of good cards. Still gonna Mancer, I think. How many creatures in the deck? We don't have that many creatures, but we have double Devious Cover-Up and a Ral Zarek, so we don't need creatures to win the game. My opponent starts with blue-red, so now we don't have to be afraid of 2 damage to an attacking creature for the time being. So it's a little awkward if we want to play our land. We can't play the Guild Mage, but I do want to make sure we can play our land here still, so I will do so. Opponent draws a card. Alright, so next turn we get to play Guild Mage if we don't find a land. If we do find a land, we've got a lot more options. Yeah, I keep calling him Ral Zarek, but I guess he's got a different name now. I'll just call him Ral. Alright, not a radical idea. Discarding Plains. So we did see a Clarion in the previous game, so playing out Guild Mage might not be the best idea. Opponent discarded Plains, indicating that they do have white mana. Otherwise, I don't imagine they would discard the Plains. If we play Guild Mage and they go Plains Clarion, then we're kind of wrecked. So, do we just attack for 2 here? Probably. Alright, it's gonna be a Guild Mage's Forum. Could be pretty good. So they could cast a Clarion here if they wanted to. Direct Current Electromancer. Alright. So now if we miss on a land drop, I'm definitely gonna play Guild Mage. Although I guess then they would just kill it again. I guess I prefer to draw land here then. Let's just play Crab. And if we can draw land next turn and drop a Ral with an empty board, then I have a hard time imagining losing this game. Hammer Dropper, alright. Opponent says oops. Yeah, they thought they could maybe put a +1/+1 counter on it. So sadly we can't play Ral and kill the Hammer Dropper. If they can pump the Hammer Dropper somehow, or if they can kill the Crab, then Ral gets attacked, but I mean, it might still be the play here. The alternative would be Direct Current Hammer Dropper, play Guild Mage, which is also pretty tempting, so maybe that's actually the better play. Yeah, let's just get rid of it. And wait on Ral until we can make sure he's not gonna get attacked. Could attack with the Crab, could leave it back to block a Sergeant. If they attack with a Sergeant, I'm fine blocking with the Guild Mage, so I'm fine attacking for 2, I think. Alright. So now we're ahead on board, we've got some nice card draw spells in hand. But our opponent has got a lot of cards in hand as well, so we'll see. It's gonna shape up to be an interesting matchup here. And if they just Direct Current Guild Mage, then we're very happy, since then we might just be able to play Ral and take over the game. Opponent discards the wave, kills Guild Mage. And let's jam a Ral here. And we're gonna keep Crab on defense in case of a Sergeant. And I'm still fine playing the land here. Alright. Could actually attack for 5 there by inverting the Crab. Might come up next turn, we'll see. Alright. They do have a Pack Beast, that's fine. Doesn't get past our Crab. Alright, start by plussing.
Ooh, let's see what we got.
Sizzle seems good, stroke seems good. This is difficult. My guess is we go for stroke. Counter any relevant card they can play, that's scary. And then we get to keep up multiple instants. Yeah, it's probably worthy of a disdainful stroke. Hey, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription there. Zen Duo, appreciate the support and welcome to the Loyal Legion. Let's have some hype in chat. Welcome our newest member of the Loyal Legion. Alright, who wants to see a Ral ultimate? Ah, come on. Alright, so do we change anything? Our opponent's deck seemed pretty much the same as in the first game. Think I'm happy with the giant still. So I think we run it back. Now this hand is quite sketchy. One land on a draw. Do I have 18 lands in the deck? Well, 17 remaining in the deck. And on the draw. But we don't have a relevant turn 2 play unless we draw exactly a mountain. There's no crab, so that's also a strike against it. Alright, there's a crab, we'll keep. And don't need another 5-drop. Hey, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription there. Shakara, welcome to the Loyal Legion to you as well. Appreciate the support, welcome, welcome. Alright, I think we found our new metric to determine whether we keep or mulligan. If there's a crab in it, gotta keep. Alright, we get to play a Cyclops on 3 at least. No double blue for Agent yet. And Insight is quite good here. Justice Strike, that's fine. Justice Strike is no match for the crab. No Hammer Dropper, please. I asked nicely. What more can I do? Alright, so if we play Guildgate, we get to play Sizzle next turn for sure. Or we can go Mountain Crab and try and block. So are we going to play a Sacrificial Crab? Or are we going to set up our Sizzle for next turn? If they have any tricks, Crab might not work out. If we draw a land next turn, untapped land, we get to play Sizzle anyway. Don't need the white mana, so my guess is we just play the Crab. We're fine trading. Command Storm. Oh boy, this crab has seen some things. Come on, land. Nice. I guess we could also ambush it with a Whisper Agent. And if they have the 2 damage on attacking or blocking creature, we're okay with it. If our opponent plays a Hasty Sergeant next turn, they would get to Mentor onto it, so that's not great. I think we just Sizzle main phase. Let's just kill it now. Alright, probably okay either discarding Agent or Insight. My guess is we get rid of Agent, since I want to cast Insight twice. Hammer Dropper got dealt with. The crab has been avenged. And our opponent has their own giants, that's fine. We've got a Capture Sphere at the ready, which I'm probably going to use main phase. Again, to play around potential counterspells, you never know. We'll play Guildgate, probably keep Island in hand going forward for Jumpstart. And if we can dodge something scary here, then we can keep up Inside and cover up, which is nice. Alright, Minotaur's acceptable, doesn't hit too hard. I'm okay still playing 1 extra land here, since we can use extra lands when drawing so many cards. And I'm just gonna say go. 6, 7, yeah, we're 1 short of doing both. And we might have to counter something with the cover up. Take 2. And a Skyline Scout is acceptable. So finding a direct current would be reasonable here. Guildmage. And a Mystic. Alright. So the 1/1 tokens from the Mystic are gonna be pretty nice. So we can go Mystic plus Guildmage, or we can go Mystic, keep up, cover up. Opponent's gonna attack for 2 in the air, but then next turn we can start making tokens. We could even, yeah, if they attack with the Scout, give it flying, we could even Insight to make a bird token at instant speed so we can kill the Scout. So I think I like Mystic keep up for mana, which means we have to play the islands. Don't need the plaza anyway, since we already have white mana in play. And we'll tap equally here. Alright, so we've got a plan here. They are attacking with both. Alright, think I'm fine casting the Insight here to make a bird. Alright. And I think I'm blocking even though they could have a sure strike here. Think I'm okay with it. Alright, they got a righteous blow, that's fine. Alright, so we're in a pretty good spot, I would say. And there's our Giants, our sideboard card, so we get to Giants, keep up, stroke, or we could go Guildmage, keep up, stroke, and cover up. I do want to get the Giant down as soon as possible so we can get rid of the Scout, which is the only thing that's currently bothering us. So we could play Giant and play Guildmage, or we could play Giant, keep up Disdainful Stroke. I think I like keeping up Stroke. This game's not going to be ending anytime soon, so playing it slow seems reasonable. Alright, let's play Giant. And our opponent gets one last attack with the Scout. Ooh, hello Ral. We could Ral. Only have one instant or sorcery in the graveyard currently. They could have a sure strike for the Minotaur to kill the Giant here, but then we can counter it, so that's fine. So let's just attack with the Giant, see what happens before we make a move. Opponent takes it. So if we play our land, we can also keep up cover up, which is probably worth it here. And I think we plus. And our opponent has had enough. Sweet. Alright, well, we got cheesed out in the first game, but we proved who had the better deck. Alright, so we're 3-0, not bad. Got to play some sweet, grindy games, got to see Crab hold the fort, and Val end the game. So pretty happy with the draft so far. Let's see if we can go the distance. Alright, this hand seems acceptable. Got Crab in our opening hand, so that's an auto keep. Ooh, turn 1 Bannerets. Somewhat scary. Alright. Ooh, Minotaur. Alright. Opponent on mono red. There is a chance they concede after we play the Crab here. Let's find out. They're still playing. Alright. Guess our opponent wants to play it out. So my guess is we trade for the Bannerets and block the Minotaur. So yeah, Crab's gotta save the day here. Alright, they have an Integrity instead. So they get to save the Bannerets. It's too bad. Ooh, hello. Ral with 1 instant or sorcery in our graveyard. That's convenient. Now if the opponent has an instant, then Minotaur prevents Wall from blocking and Ral dies. So maybe we want to set up our defenses a bit better. Or we can just kill the Banneret. I would like to protect a Ral better, but honestly if it trades for a Banneret and it makes the opponent waste an instant, that's probably worth it. So I'm gonna go for it. And on the off chance where it does get to untap, then we win the game, so that seems worth it. Alright, no instant one time. Or sorcery, should have been more specific. Alright, fair enough. So, they did have to use a Sure Strike, so still a clean 2-for-1 here, and it saved us 6 damage. So still pretty good, I would say. But could have been even better. Alright, so let's weed Dragonauts, and then we can jumpstart Radical ID, or we can keep it to trigger the Dragonauts next turn, we'll see. So this is where we want to start drawing our Hypothesizals and our Invert Invent. Opponent finally found their white mana for a Rock Charger. That's gonna need to get Capture Sphered here in a second. Alright, so I think it's probably worth it to wait, get into extra damage. Direct Current's not bad either. Alright. So we're just gonna Capture Sphere the Charger here before they get to attack. Skyline Scouts, that's fine. Alright, so we can just kill that with the current, or we can sit on our Sizzle. Sitting on our Sizzle is not bad, we could just take out the Minotaur. A lot of options. Kinda want to keep the Sizzle for something that could get past our Wall of Mist, which the Minotaur can't. Scouts would trade blows with the Wee Dragonauts, or we could keep the Wee Dragonauts back. Depends how aggressive we want to be here. I don't hate currenting the Scout and getting in for 3. And I'll keep land in hand to discard to jumpstart here. And then next turn we can maybe take something else out. Alright, that's fine. No attacks, and ooh, that's a nice one. Invert Invent can get another Direct Current and another Sizzle. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with the inclusion of Invert Invent so far. And we might as well do it now to get in more damage. Alright, so this is our only sorcery, and then we can either get a counterspell, more card draw, or card draw that's also removal. Card draw that's also removal sounds good. Although Insight draws more cards by itself, Cover Up gives us insurance against something that doesn't die to the Sizzle. Problem with Cover Up is that we don't get to keep it up right now. Think we'll go with the Cover Up here, but not sure about that one. And next turn we can keep up Cover Up, or we can Sizzle, we'll see. Another Banneret. could double Sizzle next turn if we played a Mountain. Opponent could just be dead here. Let's see. If we current twice, that's 4 damage each essentially. I guess we would be getting for 9 damage. So not quite. Yeah, probably just playing a Mancer and then jump-starting, current, discarding land, killing the Banneret. Seems good. Or we could discard a current so we can keep up cover-up. That might be even better, honestly. Yeah, keeping up cover-up seems nice. So we'll current, I guess current discarding current. Or we can just cast a current out of our hand, that's probably just better. Sure, they get to see that we have 2 currents. But if we discard one to the other one, they get to see it anyway. And now if we draw lands, we can discard those to jumpstart. Alright, we figured it out. Get in for 3. And have our counterspell at the ready. And next turn we can deal lethal with double current. Alright, just a strike. I guess it made sense for them to wait, otherwise the wee Dragonauts would have been even larger. So that's probably worth countering, would be my guess. And we'll shuffle Invert Invent, Ral and the Crab back into our deck. Oh yeah, the current was also revealed by the Invert Invent anyway. Alright, so that works out. And if they don't have an answer for the Dragonauts now, either a flyer or another removal spell, they would be dead. Blaze or Dragonauts. It's too bad. Alright, so our aggressive line with Dragonaut didn't quite work out. Do we trade 2-drops? I mean, we also get to attack them for 2, so I don't think we do. So we could put them to 2 here, but we'll start by getting them to 6. And we could sizzle main phase here in case we draw into something that we can play here. It's probably acceptable. If they've got 1 card left, are they likely to play something better than a 3/4 Minotaur? I don't think so. Alright, probably just gonna hold on to the cover up instead. And just gonna say go here. So now they're dead unless they have 2 blockers. Alright, let's attack for 2. Yeah, I bet the Boros deck isn't used to being on the defensive. Sweet. Alright, so we got the first one here. Opponent started off being mono-red and then they managed to deal with Ral, but we were able to stabilize and then take over. Alright, so against a more aggressive Boros deck, what do we want? They showed us a decent number of 2-drops, a few combat tricks, double Banneret. Giant would be good against Banneret, but it is pretty slow, so probably not good enough. We could just bring in the Mesmerist to trade early. The wall definitely did a good job there, but I can imagine if they have more Bannerets, then the wall's not great. Bring in a Mesmerist just to trade early for Bannerets, essentially. And I think that's it. Alright, we'll try this. Could be that Disdainful Stroke's not great, but I have to imagine they'll have some impactful spells we can counter still. Alright, this hand seems okay. We're missing double red for direct current, otherwise it would be even better. Opponent down to 6. And they do have the turn 1 Banneret, sadly. Alright, double mountain's great, so now we get to kill it on turn 3. Healer's Hawk, sure. So next turn they might mentor onto the Hawk. Then we probably want to start by killing the Hawk with Current, we'll see. Alright, another Hawk. We Dragonauts is interesting too. But it doesn't actually block all that well. If we zap the Banneret, then the other Hawk's not gonna grow. And then we can current the 2/2 Hawk, and then Dragonauts blocks the 1/1 Hawk. We are making them spend 2 mana pumping the Bannerets if we kill the 2/2 Hawk here instead. But then we'll have a 2/2 Hawk to deal with instead of a 1/1 Hawk. So my guess is we kill the Banneret while we can. And they could have also, I guess, put a counter on the 2/2 Hawk, I guess, since it would be a 3-power creature, so another reason to kill the Banneret while we could. Has a Marshal, sure. If they have another 2-drop, we could be in trouble. They don't. Alright, so now we get to zap the 2/2 Hawk, so they don't get to make any tokens. And we can discard Radical Idea to the jumpstart. Seems reasonable. Alright. So the opponent's deck a lot more aggressive than we thought, so yeah, Disdainful Stroke probably has to go. And we could make room for another 2-drop, potentially. Alright, a Rubble Belt Boar is not bad, but just gonna take 3 in the air. The field blocks the Boar, and then Dragonauts blocks the Hawk going forward. So we could keep up a counterspell, but then we're gonna fall behind with a Marshal, so I think we Dragonauts. Alternative would be Capture Sphere on one of their creatures, so they don't get to make tokens with the Marshal. But if their last card is not a removal spell or a way to get past the Dragonauts, then we're fine, since then they probably won't attack into the we Dragonauts. So probably worth the risk. We do also have Invert at the ready, just in case. Don't think it's gonna be super useful here. And our opponent has seen enough. Alright, well. That worked out. So our Izzet control deck is doing pretty well so far. Let's see what we're working with. This is an interesting one. Having all these 5 and 6 drops in hand is not ideal. Only 2 lands on the play. Don't think we can keep this. On the draw, maybe, but only 2 lands, all these 5 drops. Don't think we can get away with this one. Alright, let's hope to find some mountains. Island's tempting, since it is still a land drop that gets us closer to Chemist's Insight. But if we find a mountain for Electromancer, Electromancer also gets us closer to Chemist's Insight, so I think we still bottom. Nice, alright. I think we Electromancer first, we get to Insight on turn 3. And undo our mulligan. Alright, Skyline Scouts. There's a decent card. Alright, so I think I'm gonna pass a turn. Question is, do we block with Electromancer if they attack with the Scout? We might. But no reason to show them the Insight here. So let's see if they give it flying or not. They don't. So should we block here? Interesting question. The Electromancer is definitely valuable, so I think we can afford to take 2 for now. If we find the land plus Sizzle, we can cast it thanks to Electromancer. If we can find mountains, we can start shooting down 2-drops as well. Alright. Well, that's a lot of 2-drops, but sadly not a lot of land. So we could jumpstart the inside just to make sure we hit our land drops. We could play one of our walls to block, which is also reasonable. So a lot of options. I don't hate just playing a wall here. I think we'll still play the field. Although wall could be useful versus a dissident, since then if they pump it, we can still block it profitably. But getting in those 3 points of damage with the field could also be worth it. Oof, that's yeah, that's a difficult card for us to beat, sadly. So our best chance is finding a Murmuring Mystic and making a bunch of bird tokens to block with. But realistically, we're just dead to this. I guess we have a Guild Mage and Electromancer, so we've got 2 blockers for it already. And missing our land drop yet again definitely hurts. Probably have to start by hitting our land drops. And what are we discarding? Probably a Sizzle. Alright, 2 lands is good, so if we can get to 6 mana, maybe find a Capture Sphere, that would be an answer. But we're definitely in a bad spot, especially if they can keep adding some stuff to the board as well. I mean, if Ral can survive for a turn, then we can minus Ral and do something in the same turn to get rid of the Ferox. I think I'm just gonna play Ral and plus and see what happens. Hey, thanks for the subscription there, 40 Taco, appreciate the support. Our opponent might panic and do something weird that buys us time to find an answer to the Ferox.
You ready to go toe-to-toe with me?
Could also minus on the Skyland Scout, but the Ferox is the main issue here. Alright, Crab is a blocker, I guess. Stroke's not bad either, but yeah, let's take a Crab. Hey, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription there. Cremate1, welcome to the Loyal Legion to you as well. Alright. Opponent's gonna give us a nice big hug. Take out our Electromancer. Yeah, if it weren't for the Nullhide Ferox, then this game would look quite a bit different. We'll see. So they're attacking us with everyone, so this is a forced jump. Alright, so we've got 6 mana, we're super dead. So do we even show them anything else? No, let's just concede. Alright, so our opponent's on green-white, Nullhide Ferox, and Indrik. So this Disdainful Stroke seems great. Don't have any more counterspells in the sideboard we can bring in. Don't think Mesmerist is necessary. I think our main deck is set up pretty well. So yeah, just hope they don't play Ferox when we're tapped out. And we've got a Capture Sphere as well. We've got Murmuring Mystic making a bunch of blockers, so we've got ways to deal with large creatures. It's just that if we're behind and mana screwed and then they play a Nullhide Ferox, it's a bit much for us to handle. Alright, this end's looking good. Turn 2 Electromancer, turn 3 Mystic, or a Whisper Agent I mean, turn 4 Mystic. We've got a counterspell for a Ferox potentially. Healer's Hawk. Alright. We do have the Mystic that can produce some blockers. Electromancer, and the next turn we can even have a 1 mana Disdainful Stroke, which of course is not too useful when they're on 2 mana. So, Whisper Agent does play well with our counterspells, which is why it's in the deck. Alright, so they're not convoking anything expensive. I think I'm fine ambushing the Dissident here. So do we want land 5? Not really. It would let us go turn 5 Mystic plus keep up Disdainful Stroke, which could be useful, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna draw 5th land by then. So don't want to flood out too badly. Alright, they've got a trick. Righteous Blow. Yeah, that card's still not great against us, so I'm not too sad that our opponents are playing it. Against the more aggressive Izzet decks it would be great, against our deck it's medium. Alright, so here we have an interesting decision. We can tap out for Mystic and get wrecked by a Null-Eyed Ferox. Or we can wait a turn until we can go Mystic plus keep up Disdainful Stroke. But we're gonna take a beating from their creatures in the meantime. I think we have the tools to beat our opponent even after we take a bit of damage here. But I don't know if we can beat our opponent if they resolve a Null-Eyed Ferox. Of course it is just a one-off in their deck. It is a double green card. They haven't shown double green yet, so they might not even have the mana. It's an important decision for sure. If they don't have it, then playing Mystic here is gonna be great. If they do have it, then we're gonna regret playing the Mystic, so these are the tough calls. I think we'll play around it with the idea that we can survive taking 5 here. But could definitely be a mistake. Alright, they do have double green, so we're gonna feel great if they tap out for something big here. Alright, looks like they're gonna convoke a 5-drop here. Still don't want to block since we want to be able to go Mystic plus Stroke next turn. So I will cover up here for the Rosemane Centaur instead, another Dissident. Another Dissident could actually be worth countering here since 1 more mana and it becomes a 4-4. And we can handle 1 4-4, but 2 4-4s start dealing quite a bit of damage, so I don't hate countering this. And I don't think we want to shuffle Whisper Agent back, it's not a great draw. Alright, so now we get to enact our plan here. And a League Guild Mage is not bad either. Show me your Ferox. Would love it if they main phase it, because then we get the token to block the Hawk. Yeah, that's probably worth countering too. Alright, well. That was a nice tempo play on our part. And now we get to Guild Mage and attack for 2 with Electromancer. Seems good. So now we have way more material to work with to potentially get rid of a Ferox. It's just a Beetle. Alright, so we can zap whatever they put the counter on here. So we'll take 3, down to 12, still a reasonable life total against Selesnya. They don't have a lot of ways to deal those last points. So, feels good. What's the plan? Keep land in hand or play it. We do have a Guild Mage, which is pretty mana intensive. Didn't draw any Jumpstart cards yet, so I think we're okay playing the land for now. If we miss on drawing a spell, of course, then the Sizzle's not gonna work. So we'll see what happens here. We might be better off taking 3 from the scout, drawing a card with Guildmage to make sure the sizzle works. Alright, interesting attack. I mean, I guess sizzle making a bird token makes it so that we would double block the scout anyway. So I think we do sizzle now. Alright, that's a nice one. And I think I'm fine discarding it still. Sap this. If they had a pump spell, we could still finish it off with the tokens. Just gonna single block here. Alright, opponent's board is disintegrating as we speak. So let's discard the wall. Oh yes. And we get to take our time here. Draw a card with Guildmage. We can zap the Dissident next turn if we want to. A trick as well. Fair enough. Works for me. Alright. So we can copy the direct current with the Guildmage if we want to. Or we could just play a field. Let's see, so this is 4 mana total to copy with the Guildmage and 2 mana to play, so we can actually do everything we want here. So let me go full control for a second to make sure this works. So direct currents, killing this, and then we'll submit, and then we'll pay a double red, and then we'll do this, pay 3, copy this. Don't even know if this is better than just drawing a card, but it's sweet, so I'll do it. Alright, and then we'll zap the beetle, I guess. And our opponent has seen enough. Sweet. Alright, so time for hopefully the last game of this draft. Although I have been having fun, so I wouldn't mind losing and then playing another match. So do we change anything? Don't think we do. The giant could be okay, but it's a little bit slow. Opponent's pretty aggressive. We could consider Color the Culprit on the splash to get rid of the Ferox for 6 mana, or the Flight of Equinox, which otherwise a 4/5 is somewhat difficult for us to deal with. That's reasonable. Don't hate it. So that means we have to bring in Boros Guildgate, Plaza, cut a mountain, cut an island. And then we have to cut another card from the deck. What don't we like? Maybe cut the Whisper Agent, just trades for their 2-drops. Sure. Yeah, gonna have to mulligan this, but it wasn't gonna be a keep if this were a Whisper Agent anyway, so. Alright, this is better. And islands. So, turn 2 we're probably gonna play a Plaza and pay 1. Turn 3 you can play Cyclops. Turn 4 we're gonna want to Insight probably, or we could play the field. So land is not bad here, since our next couple of turns are kind of scripted anyway. Doesn't give us double red in case of direct currents, but we do appreciate more land, so it is close. Like, we're pretty likely to draw land in 3 draw steps, so that would be the reason to bottom it. I think I'm gonna bottom it, but it's close. Could play the Guildmage on 3, probably worse than playing the Cyclops, but we'll see. Stalwart, scary. Alright, we did find the land. Let's play a Plaza, say go. Next turn we get to play a Cyclops, a Field, or a Guild Mage. So we'll take 2. And if they don't have a trick, Cyclops could help us stabilize. If they do have a trick, we could be in trouble. Yeah, I think we're playing a Cyclops here. If they have the 2 damage to attacking or blocking creature, that doesn't matter, so we're probably not gonna block the first striking creature if they do attack with both. No attacks, please. Just a Stalwart, so yeah, they do have the 2 damage to attacking or blocking creature, would be my guess. So we will have to find a better answer to that one. No play from the opponent, alright. So we could Insight, we could Guild Mage plus Field. Guild Mage plus Field sounds decent. Put up a few blockers. Sounds good. Yeah, our opponent can pump the Dissident next turn, that's fine, and we can just block with a Cyclops still. They're 1 mana short of playing the Flight of Equinaughts, which is a pretty difficult one for us to answer right now. Opponent attacks with both. So if they kill the wall, that's fine. Trading Cyclops or Dissident is fine. Works for me. Alright, so probably just gonna play the Guild Gate and say go. And then we have to decide between casting the Insight or activating Guild Mage, which is a relevant decision. But we don't have to make it now, we're not gonna race with the Guild Mage anyway, so it's fine on defense. Yeah, my guess is drawing 2 might be worth it, even though we kind of give up on a little bit of value. So if our opponent has a trick, that's fine. They're just gonna let it happen. And they're gonna play a 5-drop, presumably. Alright, Righteous Blow after damage, but I see. Alright, so our opponent made sure to put the stop after damage here. But before their main phase, so it's still technically a blocking creature. So if you want to make a play like that, have to make sure to either go full control or put the right stops, I forget. Definitely messed this up a few times. Alright, Rock Charger. Yeah, I think we Chemister's Insight here. Oh yeah, we could have cast Insight there before the wall died to get in 1 damage. It's a mistake, but probably not a super relevant one. Alright, so we've got only 1 instant or sorcery in our graveyard currently. So Ral doesn't kill much, but it is still a nice play. The problem is Stalwart and Rock Charger are gonna start mentoring, which is not what we want. So what's the play? So if we play Electromancer, we can't invent. So my guess is we take our beating, we invent, look for removal, and then kill their stuff next turn. Yeah, we could invert a rock and then kill it with Ral. It's kind of going all in though. Don't love it. I think we're fine taking a bit of damage. Rock Charger being a 2/4 still dies to Hypothesizzle. So we're fine just inventing here, I think. But now I might as well attack with the Guild Mage. Since if they block, then I might Ral and kill the Charger. So we'll say go. Invent for Direct Current and Sizzle. Current deals with Stalwart, hopefully, and Sizzle deals with Charger later. So if they don't play anything too scary here, hopefully they play around a counterspell, then we might be okay. Really depends what they have here. But of course, with the Insight in the graveyard, our opponent is probably just gonna play whatever they have in hand, including this Nullhide Ferox, which is an issue. Well, not much we can do about it. We could Chemist's Insight Jumpstart in the hopes of finding a Disdainful Stroke, but if we don't find it, then the game's pretty much over. Oh, never mind, we have a color. Yeah, we're good. Color deals with the Ferox. We were smart and we sideboarded in a good card. Alright, so we can get Direct Current and Color. Alright, so we do have to pay 2 for the Ferox here. So we can't do everything we want to. Definitely playing the land. So if we Electromancer, then we've got 5 mana remaining. And we could pay for the Ferox and color it, which might be the way to go here. We can even do it in the opponent's turn, so they don't get to cast any spells until they attack. So I think that's the play. Could also kill it now so we can attack with a Guildmage for 2. Don't know how relevant that is. Electromancer. Pay for the ability. A pump spell doesn't do it here. So that's that. And we might as well attack for 2. I'm fine if they have another Righteous Blow here. Alright, so we will take another 4 damage, but we've got some pretty good cards in hand still. Alright, Flight of Aquanauts is an issue, but maybe we get enough stuff in the graveyard for Ral. We've got 1, 2, 3 instants and sorcery in the graveyard. We can add a 4th, and then we can still play Ral. So Ral could kill the Charger, but then that leaves the Flight of Aquanauts in play. But we have time to answer it if we're at 12 and they're gonna spend a turn killing Ral. So I don't hate that. Direct Current Stalwart, Ral minus on Charger. Yeah, that seems good to me. And our opponent only has 1 card in hand, so keeping up a counterspell doesn't seem super important.
You're messing up my equation.
And we'll keep land in hand for Jumpstart. Alright, so this game's pretty exciting. Opponent got to cast all their good cards, but we're still in it. So yeah, only 4 sadly. So 1 short. Otherwise the game would look even better, but we have a couple of turns here to find an answer for the flight. Ooh, do they have a take card? Ooh, Might of the Masses instead. Alright, well. It's too bad. So now Ral's gonna die. Probably should have actually attacked first there. And then we could have still minused. Yeah, that was better. We should have attacked and then minus Ral on the Rock Charger. So we could have gotten in 4 damage in case we need to race. Was a bit too busy figuring out how many instants were in the graveyard that we didn't look to attack our opponent.
Signs indicate that hurt.
Alright, stop playing stuff please. We can Direct Current, copy it with a Guildmage, take out Rock Charger. But the Rock Charger and the Scout get in for the same amount of damage, so might as well kill the Scout then. And we can Chemist's Insight, see what we draw. Probably want to start with Insights. See where we end up. Copying the Insight's also an option. But I don't think we have time to do that, otherwise we're dead. Alright, another Current. Can take out the Rock Charger next turn, but that's not going to be good enough. Close. Yeah, had we attacked for 4, maybe we would have had a chance to burn our opponent out in time, but I guess this will have to do. And discarding Mountain Questionnaire is, do we play the land to keep up cover up, or do we keep it in hand to discard to jumpstart? My guess is we probably play it here, since we need to counter every creature they play, pretty much, but we're probably gonna die here no matter what. So yeah, had we attacked for 4 last turn, got our opponent down to 8, then Current twice would have been 4 more damage. Alright, well, we can put some cards back into our deck. Don't think it's gonna matter. But I guess if we can draw color and copy it with the Guild Mage, we can kill both of their creatures. So is Ral even good enough? Don't think so. So we only want to put the color back. Invert Invent can also get color, but that's going to be too much mana. So we only want to put the color back, improve our chances of drawing it, since color would actually win us the game here. Alright. Let's go. Yes, please. Alright, and... oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm all excited now. Let's not mess this one up. Click there, submit. Pay 3. Copy. Exactly enough mana. Submit. Oh man. This is epic. Kill that. Submit. Resolve. Resolve. Get in for 2. Oh boy. Sure. Opponent can pump it here, so if we direct current it and can pump it, but then we could direct current twice. We can also Hypothesizzle, which seems safer, discard current. So let's think about this. Yeah, if we sizzle, we can discard the current if we don't draw any other action. So that seems like the good place to start here. And then we can keep current as a burn spell. And probably don't need the stroke, since we can put them to 6 here and then direct current twice, or even 3 times with the Guild Mage. Kill that thing. Get in for 4. And I think we keep current in hand in case we need to copy it somehow. Alright. We're at 2. Hopefully no hasty green cards. Harpooner's fine. Alright. That should do it. Oof, that game, man. What a top deck. And there's a crab just in time. Alright, let's current this. Current, oh wait, hold on. Gotta play the crab first. Oh boy, what a game. And that's it, got the 5-0. I'm glad you guys were here to witness it. That was magical, no other way to describe it. And Crab Control gets the 5 wins. That was epic. Let's crack some packs. Temple Garden. Too bad I already made 4. Citywide Busts. Don't think that card gonna see much play. You could say it's kind of a bust. Emara. Too bad I already have 4. Light of the Legion. Too bad it's not a useful card. Another Emara. I think we opened one already. Overgrown Tomb. Too bad I already have 4. And a Pelt Collector. Too bad I have 4 already. Alright. Well, I guess that's what you get for trying to make content and buying a bunch of packs. And yeah, I think that's gonna just about wrap things up. So yet again, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.